Welcome to Jeremy Hadler's YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jeremy Hadler, and today we're going through episode 9 of season 3 of the GOAT series here on my channel here, folks. And we're only going to be doing offense here today because when I looked at the all-pro list from the NFL history, there was no defense or special teams here. So today I'm going to be going through quarterback, running back, halfback, wide receiver, O-line. That is going to be positions of how I do it. But before I start, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We'd appreciate it. And the way we go about it again, folks, is how they made impact in this era. And that is the 1940s by including statistics, but the statistics weren't so great. So we're really leaning on the achievements and how they really played from when researching about the articles and seeing how they really played back then when I hear from the experts about it. That's how I'm basing off of my opinion today. So that's how we roll here, folks. So let's start off with the first easy position here, and that's quarterback. Now, quarterback, this guy has a great nickname, Sling Sammy. And this was one of the GOAT series best in the quarterback video when we had to discuss it. It wasn't my pick, but it was somebody else's pick on my channel here that did that. And that is Sammy Bow, Sling Sammy, folks, who's a one-time NFL champion, 3 first-team All-Pros, 3 second-team All-Pros, 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time passing yards leader, 2-time passing TDs leader, 3-time passer rating leader, and 8-time completion percentage leader, because that is insane to me. And that's fantastic stuff to have when the statistics were terrible and you're leading the league in completion percentage. Talking about his game real quick, was he was a pioneer who revolutionized how the quarterback position was played, and he combines his poise, his toughness, and he had exceptional accuracy. Like I mentioned about that completion awards, he would attack and had great precision of seeing when to time, when to throw it, and boop, put in the receiver's hand. He'd do it every single time. And that just really shows that he was so good and perfecting that. And he's also read the defense, see what coverage there are, man coverage, double coverage, 2 high shell, 1 shell. Like, he did a pretty good job at that. And so because of that, that is to get appreciation for me. And he really was the dominating quarterback in that era. And talk about his game, in today's NFL, of course, you see a 4 pass every single time. Back in that day, that was risky, very risky to do, and most QBs didn't do that. Sammy was the first guy to do that, and because of that, he revolutionized the position by making other quarterbacks do that, and he succeeded with that. So that generated quarterbacks like today of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, etc., to do those plays and throw it that way. So because of that, he did a fantastic job and helped the NFL really get on its track with being a quarterback, how to play the NFL. And he was always competitive demeanor. That's what something that stands out about him when researching about him. Always fought for the toughness. The injuries wherever occurred, he always fight through it. And he always absorbed the hits. Because in that era too, you get so many hits, especially when you throw the ball in the air, so many hits. So again, for me, Sammy Bout is my quarterback here. Really outstanding guy. And the accuracy, can't mess that up with sling. He would sling it and go for those TDs, folks. Go for those TDs. So Sling Sammy is my quarterback here. Moving on to running back here, folks. My running back I had is Pat Harder. Pat Harder is a one-time NFL champion, one-time MVP, 3 first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, 3-time scoring leader in the NFL. Not 1, not 2, but 3 times, folks. That's impressive to see that. And he's a powerful running back, straight head, fullback of going right at, because that's what it was back in the day with that HB instead of how you see today as a regular running back. That was mostly the fullback position of being a running back. Technically, it was where the halfback, that was your true runner out there. But Pat was an elite scorer out there, especially when you need the short yards and goal line situations. He was usually that central offensive weapon to run up the guts, and even between those tackles he still had to go through, he somehow made it. And that's like you see the FB dive and Madden, and you just run it up the gut there. Pat would be phenomenal with that. So that's to get appreciation there. And like you see today with the tush push, of course, this is like a cheat code back in the day. Pat Harder would be that cheat code to get you that easy touchdown. And to give you some of the stats, folks, he totaled 3,016 rushing yards, 864 receiving yards, and 38 total TDs. Crazy to see that, folks. So that's the statistics there, but that's just crazy to see in that era. And the way he ran about it was he go low pad wise and kick his legs strong like he's jumping up, leaping up, and still go straight through right away, folks. He would do that. And to give you an interesting fact about him, one of his key games that he helped out in was with the Chicago Cardinals in 1947, the title run, where his clutch short yardage and his running was able to help the team score so many times because of that. And he was the big moment guy and depender. If he needed to score a touchdown, he was able to do that. And Pat did that to win the championship game. So that's good appreciation out here. So Pat Harder is my running back here. He's a guy I would honestly would want in the fullback position too. If I had to start an all-man team, I put Pat there because he's not going to mess up for me. He's going to go at it. Even if it's a battle line, he's still going to deliver for me. So got to get appreciation here for him. And then to move my halfback here, I like this guy a lot, is Steve Van Buren. Everyone knows if you're from the Philadelphia area, he's a Philadelphia Eagle legend, two-time champion, 5 first-team All-Pros, 1 second-team All-Pro, 4-time rushing yards leader, 4-time rushing TDs leader, 1-time scoring leader. Insane to see that, folks. Outstanding guy. And he combined his bruising strength with his elite acceleration. So often lowering his shoulder to finish his runs to go down after the first contact. So use that shoulder, boom. Now, quarterback, you don't want to do that because you could bust up your shoulder and all that for your throwing arm. But you see that today's NFL with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, of course. But Steve Van Buren, and he excelled between the tackles, which he could go inside and go outside, and he was powerful runs. So if he had to go off the tackle place, he still did well. And his ability and his vision really stood out to me by making those small cuts. So you had to make a small cut, go inside or go outside to go out of it. That's what really stands me about Steve Van Buren. And to give you an interesting fact about Steve Van Buren was in the 1949 championship game, he set the postseason records with 31 carries and 196 rushing yards, dominating the game on the ground and cementing his big game reputation here. So Steve Van Buren has to be on this list for me. I cannot get appreciation enough for him. One of my favorite Eagle players of all time. And he was on my Eagles GOAT series for the franchise history. And he was basically the Eagles GOAT for a long time, up until Reggie White came, or some other guys came too, like Jason Kelsey now. But back in the day, Steve was the face of that Eagles franchise and did a really good job with that. So I got to run it with Steve. Steve's got to be my guy. He's not going down. He's going all the way with me. So I'll take a Steve here. All right. Next guy on my list, this guy I love a lot, and this is one of my top receivers all time. Now, not many people know about him. Now, of course, like you look at the stats, you look at all of the achievements and everything. It was a lot easier because they're playing the Milkman era, but this is dominance. This is truly dominance of what you could possibly do in the NFL, and you could not do this. You honestly could not do this today with what he accomplished, and that is Don Hudson, Green Bay Packers wide receiver back then. Don Hudson, legend he is. 1-time NFL champion, 2 MVPs, 6 first-team All-Pros. Yes, 6, baby. 3 Pro Bowls, 5-time receptions leader, 4-time receiving yards leader, 5-time receiving TDs leader, 5-time scoring leader. The guy scored and basically dominated era. So, yeah, that's basically Jerry Rice in the 1940s, guys. Insane to see, guys. That's insane. And he was really one of the first truly modern route running wide receivers. So now, of course, you know how wide receivers run the routes. Don Hudson was basically the textbook guy, like I mentioned before, some other guys as being a textbook of the NFL in previous episodes. Don Hudson was the guy for wide receiver, and he was a dominant offensive weapon that transformed, that passed the game into so many different strategies of how to play with wide receivers. And he separated himself from the CBs with sharp routes and soft hands to force those defense to invent new coverages and enable him. So a lot of zone coverage had to be in place with Don Hudson because he was so fast and just elite guy. And he always had great spacing. So, like, one guy I always think of with spacing is Devontae Adams, of how he spaces against his defensive backs. Don did that a lot. And one great fact I like to say about him is he held 18 NFL records. 18 NFL records at the time of his retirement. One just got broken a couple years ago, Justin Jefferson. That is insane. Even today, that some of his records are still unachievable for someone else to come get it from him. That's fantastic to see. 18 NFL records. Like, that's crazy. And to give you statistic-wise of his best season is 1942. 74 catches, 1,211 receiving yards, and 17 touchdowns. Remains one of the most dominating performances of a receiver in a single season. So, most dominant guy. That's a guy, he's not going to mess up. So if you really need like a fantasy football wide receiver draft back then, and if fantasy football was a thing back then, Don Hudson probably win your leagues. Even if you had the worst roster, Don Hudson would probably be your Puka Nacua, your Jamar Chase, your Justin Jefferson guy. Don Hudson did that, and really great player. Really great player he was. And then to wrap it out here, folks, we're going to start my O-line here. This is the most important position I like to say on the offense because that's how the trenches get started. And this is what you really needed back in the day with the physicality in the 1940s. So, my first guy here, I like this name a lot, is Buford Baby Ray. Buford Baby Ray, one time NFL champion, 4 All-Pros he had. His game rooted over in the power and balance. So, he would often use that by playing with strong hands, excellent leverage, and known for his durability. So, he had played through so many injuries and a very consistent guy too. So played through so many injuries and a consistent player. That's all you need. That's all you need. You need a consistent, good player out of that consistency and very durable. So fighting for those injuries, especially that physical era, he was the point of defensive ends like trying to stop. Like whenever the defense was trying to stop on the D line, or trying to beat guys on the O line, he was the focus on that when D linemen were playing. And the run game to talk about here, real quick, he would always seal the edge by creating run lanes. So he would set parts off and always finish those blocks. Always finish those blocks. So like you see today's NFL, like how a guy needs to get a little wide open here, a little margin for the running back to go in. Buford did that. Buford did that. Now let's talk about his passing real quick. He didn't rely on flashy footwork. He didn't have to get like all the way back, all this, that, and all that. So he used his positioning where he was and he strength to neutralize those rushers. So he understood the angles very well, so how the rushers were coming on and that. He didn't need to like move around a lot. He just needed to stand there real quick with his hands and really force those defenders to take longer paths. So like you see a lot of days in the NFL where defensive linemen, they're starting up on the edge, like right here, and then they're going all the way around, like kind of a little full circle around. By delaying that, of what he did a lot of time, would give the QB so much time to go through that. And because of that, took the defenders took longer passes to try and get them down and wear them down over the course of the game. Buford did that a lot, and that won him a lot of ball games for that offense. So Buford, that's the guy you need. If you need a guy to kind of stall the defenders out a bit and just not let them get through, Buford's my guy here. So got to take Buford Baby Ray as my blindside guy, as because me, right hand quarterback, or what normally most QBs are right-handed, taking him here. So that's my guy. All right, left guard here. I'm going to take Frank Gatsky here. I like this name a lot. 4-time AAFC champion here. That's what the AFC was of its own league before the NFL and everything. But to talk about his game real quick, he was a pretty good interior lineman whose game was defined with more consistency than the Flash. So with Flash, like you would always see if like, man, this is a great play. Then the next play, you suck. And then every couple plays here and there, you see another amazing play. He was more consistency. That's what we talked about his game. And he was part of the Cleveland Browns offense back in the day with being basically the reliable snap guy, helping out. Because sometimes he would play center too, but he was very strong in the pass protection. And that's what you really needed because of Otto Graham and how Paul Brown's offense aligned. Even when you had Jim Brown come into play a couple years later, Frank did that. He helped out a lot. And helped Graham so much, give him so much time in the pocket, which is always what you need. So basically, Graham could just sit there all day, just wait, and then Graham could just finally throw it like out of his launcher. That's what it was with Frank. And so because of that, they won a lot of ball games and they won championships. Like I just mentioned with the AAFC, he won it 4 times. So that's fantastic to see there. And a real quick fact about Frank, again, about his durability and his toughness, is he never missed a game. So like I mentioned with my O-line, these guys are very durable and don't miss games. That's what you need to see on the O-line here. Guys who are not willing to quit and not go down, they will go down fighting. They will go down fighting it out. So I'll take Frank here as my left guard here. All right, and then my center here. For center, I'm going to take Clyde Bulldog, love the nickname, Turner. Clyde Bulldog Turner. 4-time NFL champion. 7 first-team All-Pros. Yeah, not 1, not 2, but 7 guys. 7 All-Pros as a first-team All-Pro. Pretty amazing to see that. 2 Pro Bowls. Played with toughness. Very intelligent guy and unmatched versatility. So what I mean by that is how he's always embodied in the trenches here. And so he earned the nickname Bulldog for a reason because he thrived on the physicality and leverage. So like how you think of the one-game British Bulldog, Clyde always dominated that game. Always dominated, especially how you play low and use your strong hands to really push the guys out. It's like you're in the trenches trying to fight in like the dog pile. He'll come out with it. If it's like a fumble on the ground, he'll come out of there. So very good to see it. And he's always very consistent in winning those one-on-one battles inside by controlling the defenders at the point of attack, like I mentioned with other guys before. And he was also very effective in the run game too, by opening lanes up, like I mentioned with other guys too, to really excel. So really with Clyde and you have with my other guys like Frank and Buford, they're opening lanes up for me, but also giving me time to throw in the pockets, throw in as for my quarterback, but also shut guys down the defensive line. So really, this is an outstanding line so far. And I really like Clyde to basically be that neutral, that central O lineman I like to be really setting the part of helping out my offense here. So Clyde, gotta be my center here. All right, my right guard here, folks. This one I liked a lot as well, and that's Bill Willis. Boring name, of course, yes, but he got the job done, of course, by being a 4 AAFC champion, 2 first team All Pros, and a 1-time first All AAFC, and a 1 second team All Pro, folks. What's stood out about him is his first step quickness. So as soon as the ball gets snapped up, he go right in there, and he was allowing that right away when he got to that. Allen gained leverage on those defensive tackles by being ready quick and like push them right out of the way, folks. So he excelled in pulling and also trapping too. So he was able to get balance at the pulling and the trapping, and he really excelled at that. And because of that, he got his balance good, work to be steady in here if there, but also control himself too against the defenders and control that line. So really exceptional in the pass protection by doing that. And he understood how D line were trying to attack, and they usually attack in the gap A or gap B, and he understood that. So he would already know as soon as he goes, he would anticipate that and go right in there to stop the play right away. Now, talking about his run game real quick, he would thrive in the gaps too. So, like when the defenders are thinking the gap A and gap B, sometimes they go the opposite and you open gap C or push gap A and gap B back. And that was such a power scheme by seeing defenders climbing the linebackers to basically, nope, you're not going to get my running back at all, and finish those blocks with leverage. So, again, what really stands out about Bill Willis is quick off the snap, Vance very well of seeing what guys are doing. So that's years ahead of what you would think of O line are supposed to be doing, like you see today. Pioneer again, like what I mentioned with Sammy Bow before, also highly disciplined and effective in both pulling and anchoring the O line. So absolutely has to get my list here. Absolutely. And then to finish on my last position here, my right tackle for O line, that is Al Wizard, 2-time champion, first team All Pros, 1-time Pro Bowl. To talk about his game, what I like about him is the physicality. So, like I mentioned with the consistency here, he's not much of a flasher guy. He's more of the physical control at the line, and that's where his consistency stand out to be by known for his exceptional strength. So, very strong dude, guys, and he had a lot of leverage. So, a lot of the way I'm looking at my O line here is the strength, durability, consistently playing good, and have a lot of leverage and opening lanes up in both the run game, but also my quarterback a lot of time to just sit back, throw it deep. That's what I really like about him. So this is what I, again, always won those constant one-on-one battles there and was a cornerstone for opening lanes. So if I need a guy to literally set an open lane here for my running back to make a hole and go run deep and make it have a long run, Wizard is my guy. So really, I like this a lot. Always consistent, had a lot of durability, and he was a grind out dude. Always grinded it out and always won in both the run game and was great in neutralizing the pass rushers so much that the pass game, quarterbacks have an easy time in front. So slamming, he got time. He got all day to throw, guys. So that's what I really like about this O line a lot. But that'll do here, folks. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think my guys are right? Do you think they're wrong? Do you have somebody better if you remember this era at all of my audience? Let me know. I would appreciate it. But that's the wrap for this video, folks. We will see you next time in the 1930s here, folks. 1940s, this is a quick short list. 1930s and 1920s, also going to be very short here, folks. So stay tuned for that. But as always, go Pack Go. Have a great day, everybody.